traces of fatigue and anxiety had vanished. In spite of the fact that wearisome vigils had been kept in every home that night, and that hundreds of men and women had stood about for hours in the vicinity of the Gayole fort, no sooner was the joyful news known than all lassitude was forgotten, and every one set to with a right merry will to make the great fete day a complete success. There is in every native of Normandy, be he peasant or gentleman, an infinite capacity for enjoyment, and at the same time a marvellous faculty for co-ordinating and systematizing his pleasures. In a trice the surly crowds had vanished. Instead of these there were groups of gaily visaged men pleasantly chattering outside every eating and drinking place in the town. The national holiday had come upon these people quite unawares, so the early part of it had to be spent in thinking out a satisfactory programme for it. Sipping their beer or coffee, or munching their cherries à l'eau de vie, the townsfolk of Boulogne, so lately threatened with death, were quietly organising processions. There was to be a grand muster on the Place de la Sénéchaussée, then a torchlight and lantern-light march, right around the ramparts, culminating in a gigantic assembly outside the town hall, where the citizen Chauvelin, representing the Committee of Public Safety, would receive an address of welcome from the entire population of Boulogne. The procession was to be in costume. There were to be Pierrots and Pierrettes, harlequins and English clowns, aristocrats and goddesses. All day the women and girls were busy contriving travesties of all sorts, and the little tumble-down shops in the Rue de Chateau and the Rue Frédéric Sauvage, kept chiefly by Jews and English traders, were ransacked for old bits of finery and for remnants of costumes worn in the days when Boulogne was still a gay city and carnivals were held every year. And then, of course, there would be the Goddess of Reason in her triumphal car, the apotheosis of the new religion which was to make everybody happy, rich and free. Forgotten were the anxieties of the night, the fears of death, the great and glorious revolution which for this one day would cease her perpetual demand for the toll of blood. Nothing was remembered save the pleasures and joys of the moment, and at times the name of that Englishman, spy, hero or adventurer, the cause of all this bounty, the Scarlet Pimpernel. End of chapter 29.